Hi, Harvey Hook here. In this video, I actually want to discuss a really common dating mistake that people do and really how to avoid it because it's not actually something that really should happen, in all honesty, in all brutality. All right, let's get to it. So me and my best friend, when we were growing up, we often had the phrase, if you can do it with a mate, then it's not a date. And what this means is that if there is something that you would do with a friend, then it actually reduces its specialness. Because really dates are about getting to know someone and feeling them out for who they are and just letting loose, not having any expectations and having a bit of a play just to see how you and that person gel on an emotional level. That isn't to say that everything that you would do with a date you wouldn't do with a mate. This is getting tongue twisting, but it is to say that there are certain things that you would do that you would restrict yourself from doing that if you would with friends. And what I mean by this is it's about setting expectations and setting standards and setting just a sense of play with the person that you're actually seeing. Because when you actually get to play with them, you get to know them for who they are at an identity level, not at a very logical level. So really bad date ideas would be going for like morning coffee. Because morning coffee is what you would do with a business partner. Or morning coffee is what you would do with a friend before work because you're running out of time. Alternatively, you would have to do it at the end of the day so we have a bit more time potentially to play around just to see where things go and just to see where things evolve. This actually goes the same for lunch dates. Another really bad dating idea would to see a movie on a first date, because that is something that you do with someone when you've actually gotten to know them for a while and you started to run out of things to say or not, but really you just want to relax, have a night of no expectations and things like that. If you're doing that with someone that you've just met, you're immediately saying to them that you have no expectations for the romance and that you don't actually care where it's going to go. Also, if you're doing that in a first date, you don't actually get to know them for who they are. You're not really experiencing them, and so therefore it's not really worth your time or their time. You're just wasting everyone's time. And maybe you're just getting a fun movie out of it, which you could have just seen with a friend. Another really bad dating idea is actually going for a heavy meal. I always say this as well, is that save meals and save big heavy meals or more formal meals for later on. The first date you really want to keep it casual, so something like drinks or something like that. If you go for a proper sit down, here's the bill, sir, madame, would you like some wine, all that kind of stuff, you're immediately setting it at a very formal pace. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that you're more likely to remember a conversation if you're not facing that person head on? In most formal situations, in most formal dining situations, you're actually seating the person opposite. So in all honesty, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you want to have a formal, face-to-face thing. The best way to do when you go on a date with a guy is to sit at a 90-degree angle just so you can actually feel them more. And it's a lot less pressure as well. But when you're sitting at a 90-degree angle, that also gives you room to feel them at a very personal level, that you can get used to their space and they can get used to your space, and you can feel if that space really works well together. Anyway, there were some really bad date ideas that you can do or not do. If you are doing those things, I would love to hear some stories, and maybe they did work out for you, but I can honestly tell you that 90% of the time, if you do those bad date ideas, they will work out bad date ideas. And sometimes these are second dates or third dates where you think, I know them enough. But as I always say, the dance is never over. You can never assume that just because a guy likes you, that it is over. Same thing, that if you're in a marriage with someone, you can never assume that it's finished, because you still should be promoting the marriage, still promoting like the time and connection you have together. If you have any relationship, any friendship, you still do fun things together. You just don't say, hey, it's done, they're my friends forever. Anyway, cool. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like. Thank you so much for watching. Again, cool. All right, I'll see you later. See you in the next video. Mwah, Harvey out. See you soon.